Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Well, today is the last day of our one-on-one coaching enrollment, and then you won't hear us talk about it for a while.
For months.
So be grateful if you're tired of hearing about it.
And if you're waffling, today's the day.
Yeah.
Decision day.
Yeah. You need to just eat waffles, not be a waffle. Know what I mean?
Waffles. Oh man. Haven't had one in a long time.
Waffles. I don't know. That's a new mantra.
There you go.
Eat
Don't
waffles.
be a waffle. Eat a waffle.
I mean, is a waffle... It's really like a waffler. I'm not sure we can make a waffle like a proper noun as a person, but that's okay. It's fine. That's not really what I wanted to talk about today, was waffles.
No.
I wanted to start, since we're talking about one-on-one coaching for a second here, I want to answer a question that sometimes comes up, which is not necessarily the difference between 6 months and 2 months of coaching, because I feel like over the years, we've addressed that a number of times.
And if you're committed to doing coaching and you're just trying to figure out
we can talk to
we'll
you
talk about that on our call.
But what's the value of coaching and what do you get out of it? I feel like I've answered this question a lot too, but since we're in a coaching enrollment, I think it would be smart of me to actually answer the question. So here's what I don't want you to do if you're thinking about doing coaching. I don't want you to go to our site and be like, okay, they charge this much for 6 months of coaching and 12 sessions. So this is how much it is per hour. If that is how you were evaluating coaching, I'm going to say right now, you're doing it wrong. Because first of all, what you get with coaching is a lot more than just those 12 sessions. I calculated it. Do you want to know how many hours I think we each put into a 6-month coaching client?
Yeah, I've never done that math.
I think it's 40. I think it's at least 40 hours.
That sounds valid.
Because we spend at least 12 hours coaching them. Definitely 12 hours coaching them. They get at least 10 hours of content from us, access to content that we've created. They also get at least, I am telling you, for every hour I spend coaching someone, I spend an hour emailing them.
Yeah. Oh, because that's a big part of coaching too.
Because unlimited email support is part of coaching. And then also prep time.
Yes.
For reading the notes again and kind of synthesizing and getting ready to coach someone too is part of the process.
And rereading the emails to make sure
that's part of prep time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
I added it up and I was like, 40 hours is absolutely not an exaggeration of how much time I'm going to put into you if I work with you for 12 sessions. Yeah. So if you are inclined to do that math, divide it by 40. Don't divide it by 12. Yeah. Because there's a lot that goes into each client.
Even still, that's irrelevant. That's
it is irrelevant.
It's kind of like trying to figure out how much it costs to go to an exercise class when you're not recognizing the fact that my whole body is getting healthier and healthier and healthier.
Well,
it's not like,
oh my God, I just had the funniest visual. You're like, oh my God, I could only do half of that squat. I just lost 50 cents. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're thinking about going to the gym on that granular of a level, you are off in the motherfucking weeds. And we need to get you back on track. So I don't want you to think about coaching like that either. Because if you do, it's very clear you're way, 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 way up in your head. And it's actually a good indicator that you probably need coaching because you're probably way too much up in your head. And
you're probably doing that about every decision in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So here's the thing. I'm very grateful for the people who have never even had that thought. They're just like, I feel like this is a valuable thing. I want to do it. I see it as an investment in myself and I am game. And I understand that there are people who maybe are a little bit less on the feeling side. They're more on the analytical side and they have sometimes trouble making that decision. And so I'm not opposed to working with those people at all. I work with analytical people all the time, but I wanted to share this because I think it helps the analytical people make sense of what you really get out of coaching. Because it is a huge investment in a coach's time and energy. There's a reason why I can't coach 40 people a week or 20 people a week even.
Right.
There's a certain amount of time and energy and effort that goes into each person. And it's somewhat incalculable. I just tried to add it up for you, but it is somewhat incalculable. And then also, the long-term ripple effect and benefit you get out of becoming a different person is also incalculable.
Yeah, it doesn't even really matter how many hours it takes us. It has everything to do with what's going to change in your life and in your view of what you're even capable of,
right,
and in your sense of clarity and direction. Like, who cares even how much time it takes us to coach you? What you care about is, how is my life going to change? How is my decision-making going to change? How is my thought process going to change? How am I going to view my life in a new, more positive, hopeful way?
What's the return on investment in me being a clear, directed, confident person who knows what they want and can go after it without a lot of angst, who might now be a better match, certainly after that much coaching, is a better match for the things that they want, for the ideal job. Also, relationships. I can 100% tell you, there are people that I have coached that probably would not have ended up married and with the kids that they have now had we not done that work together 5 years ago. Like, it completely changed the trajectory of their life. And that is not me bragging on myself. That's me bragging on them and the work that they did, because I can't make someone come to coaching and do the work. Nope. Like, that was their effort that paid off and me holding them accountable and guiding them through it.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to measure the return on investment on an entirely different life and trajectory in life.
Yeah.
That's what coaching opens you up to.
Just know that if you are getting down into that granular level, it's just fear. It's just very, very normal human fear. And you're trying to make sense of a decision that feels big and it feels a little bit overwhelming. Like, what's going to change? I don't really know what this is, you know? And so you try to get into the granular details.
It's a fancy form of fear and procrastination.
Yes, that's all it is.
Yeah. And it makes you feel smart. And so then it kind of helps you justify the decision to yourself or the waffling to yourself. Like, it's a very sophisticated form of self-sabotage.
It's the way perfectionism is like the sophisticated version of procrastination. This is a version of that too.
Yes.
Just know it's all fear.
Yeah.
It's just all fear.
It's really no more fancier than that.
No.
So, okay. I just wanted to point that out because we hadn't really talked about it on that level before.
No, we haven't. And it's a question we get sometimes, so it's worth having that conversation in public.
I am cool with anyone asking me any question they want because I can usually give you a good answer. And I feel like that was a good answer to that question. What do I get out of it?
We've heard it all over the years, as you might imagine. Yeah. We've gotten all the questions.
Okay, so today's the last day. So if you want to talk to us, you're serious enough that you want to really seriously consider it. You don't have to be 100%. You might be 80% of the way there. Then fill out the form in the show notes or go to clarityonfire.com, head to the Work With Us tab, pick one-on-one coaching, sign up on that page, and we will talk to you about it. And you can either do 6 or 2 months. You get a lot more out of 6 months. 2 months is a great place to start.
6 months is the full coaching experience, but 2 months will give you quite a bang of clarity and direction, but you're still going to...
You might have to implement a lot of it on your own after that.
Yeah, because we ran out of time.
Yeah, we did. So I'm happy with what we offer and how much we charge. And I think we could charge a lot more, to be honest. I know coaches who charge a lot more and probably are not nearly as good as you or I. But I don't feel good doing that because I don't want to price cool people out of being able to work with me.
We want to make it accessible enough that
while still being able to pay my mortgage.
1% to be able to work with a coach.
No. You should be able to be a normal person who can still make it work in some way.
Yes.
Or else, what are we doing? But yeah, I do have to eat and pay my mortgage and take care of my very high maintenance dog. So that goes into it. Okay, so
today's topic for our side chat.
Today's topic. Let's transition to today's topic. That's so boring. Are we on NPR or something?
We would be terrible NPR hosts.
I don't think anyone who listens to NPR would want to listen to us.
No, I think that's a very different audience.
I think that there's some overlap. But okay, we want to talk about, well, why don't we pause and why don't you share how this came up, this topic of conversation?
This was, it's something I've been thinking about myself recently, but it came up in a conversation with a client, I think last week, pretty recently.
It was last week,
I think. And it put a really good framework around something I'd been thinking about in more nebulous
This
terms.
is so funny because you've heard this so many different ways, so many times, but somehow the way that he said it made you get it, which even
That
you are
happens all
still
the
doing,
time,
right?
though. That
8
happens-
years into being a coach, you're still doing
Yes.
that. That's still happening to you.
Yes, I've seen that happen in my clients where we'll have talked about something over and over and over again, and sometimes just a new frame around it, bam, all of a sudden it makes sense. So this is a normal thing. It happened to me just last week. I was talking to a client and he is reading a book right now. I couldn't even tell you the name of the book. I need to confirm that with him because I should probably read
But
this
that's not
now.
really even the
But
point
it's not.
of the book.
I don't think I need to read the book. I think I just needed to hear the description. And he described it as things work better when you don't go directly at the thing that you're seeking. You kind of take like a backdoor route, or you take the a little bit more,
Sideways.
you kind of come in at an angle. You go indirect at the thing you want. And one of the examples that he shared from the book, just to give you a little bit of idea of like, what are we talking about here, is surfers. They're not out to get, or maybe they are, but they're not like intentionally out to get great abs.
No, that's not why they're paddling out there.
They're paddling out there every day or however often because they just love surfing. Surfing is the experience, but the end result ends up being great abs. If they were going directly at that, it would be probably a lot more arduous. It would
Well, they would be doing
like,
a lot of sit-ups and they'd be in the
Yes.
gym. They wouldn't be surfing, probably. They would just be like doing what you're supposed to do, quote unquote, to get abs, which is like ab workouts and sit-ups
Right.
and stuff.
They'd be going directly at the thing.
Right.
Versus I'm going to have this really wonderful experience that I love where I actually get that thing, but it's more of a side effect.
It's a result of doing something that you enjoy.
right.
Like, can you let your results in life be the effect of just living a good life?
Yes.
That's kind of
Can you
what the-
focus? I mean, I know that this really boils down to enjoy the process, not the destination. I know that that's what this means, but this way of describing it is like, stop going head first, direct at the thing. Because what happens there, I feel, is we start getting really grippy. You know, you're like, I need this thing. There's almost this urgency and this desperation that I need this to happen. Imagine if you were doing this in a relationship sense. I need a significant other.
so I'm going to go download an app.
I'm going to go download an app. I'm going to talk up every guy at the bar. I'm going to like directly go at the thing versus I'm going to live my life. I'm going to interact with interesting people. I'm going to do things that I enjoy. And the result of that might be that I meet a significant other doing something that I love. And I'm going to be in a much different energetic state when I meet that person versus, are you the person? Are you the person? Are you the person?
Well-
which is really off-putting and actually ends up creating a lot of resistance
It's a
to getting what
repellent.
you want.
Yeah. Being grippy is a repellent.
Yes.
Being okay with your life is attractive.
Yes.
In
when
the
you go-
literal sense, like people
Yeah.
will be magnetized to you because you're just over there living your life and having fun and having a good time and you're not even looking at the thing. It comes to you. Things come to you when you're not looking at them. That's usually how it works, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. You know these people who are just
You might be this
eye on the
person.
prize and dead set, and maybe they're focused on, I got to get that promotion. And so they're working these long hours and they're putting in all this time and all this energy, right? Versus I'm going to enjoy my job. I'm going to do the best job that I can. And if that turns into me growing in this company, wonderful. But I'm going to focus on being good at my job versus trying to laser focus in on working as hard as humanly possible and getting all the right connections and forcing a promotion to happen. You can feel the difference in that energy there. One is full of like pent up stress, and
It's
one
anxiety.
is
It's coming from a place of fear
Yes,
of,
one
and
is just-
control.
enjoying where you're at and enjoying the process and trusting that the result of you showing up every day is going to be a result that you want.
Uh-huh. Also, why do we feel like we are, I think that I don't know how, why am I struggling to say this? I'm trying to articulate a very nebulous thought that's like, we think that we have control over cause and effect.
Mm.
And I actually think that's a bit of an illusion. We think when I work hard, I make money. Is that actually true? Do you actually just work hard and you make money and those are separate? Have you ever tested that if you worked less hard, you would still make the same amount of money? And that there isn't this correlation between you going directly at the thing and getting it? That those might be falsely correlated to some degree and you just have been doing it your whole life. So you think it's like the people who are obsessed with like having a routine and then their sports team will win. Like, oh, well, when if I have this, if I touch this thing and then I wear this jersey, then they'll win. I'm like, no, there's literally no correlation between, but you feel like there's a correlation between those things. So I know you're going to be like, Rachel, you are completely shitting me. I'm not. I don't know that there's a correlation between downloading a dating app and getting into a relationship.
I think there's a lot of evidence to prove the contrary, frankly.
Yeah. I think, you want to know what I think? I think that people attract something based on what they believe is possible. So if you believe that the only way you can find a relationship is through an app, that might be the only way that it's possible for you to find a relationship. Now, it might not be a good one. It also might be that you believe the only way to make money is by working your ass off. And so you can't make money any other way yet because you haven't changed your belief to reflect ease. Mm-hmm. And if you did, you would make money that way. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the universe works. It works according to what you believe is possible. So this is me challenging us to, why is it that we think that the only way to get something is head on? It's because that's what we've been habituated to think. But it's just as possible for you to get something, if not more possible, for you to get something in a sideways fashion. You've just never tried it.
Well, and that's partially why I'm kind of curious about this book, because the whole point is proving that going indirect is not only
I'm not sure there needed to be a whole book about this, but okay.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, how do you fill a whole book about this thing? I don't even know how to fill 20 minutes about this.
I'm not even sure if this is the whole book principle or if this is a principle from the book. I don't know. That wasn't even the point of the conversation that I had with him, but it's making me think a lot. But the premise here was going indirect is actually better. It actually ends up being more direct than what feels like the head-on route. This is making me think a lot about the episode that we did. Well, we brought it back, and you'll remember when.
Go ahead.
Which was about masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, we brought it back, but it was a few months. It was
this
ago.
Year, but I don't remember when. Which there are two routes to getting what you want. And the one that we all think we have to do is that direct one. I have to set a goal and I have to make steps every day directly in the way of that goal. Which honestly,
you just believe that's what you have to do because that's what you've been told.
Yeah, honestly, it's a little bit of a control freak path.
It's a perfectionist path. Yeah, it's definitely like, I need to make this happen because I don't believe it can happen any other way. Mm-hmm. I don't believe there's anything else that could support me or that could guide me or anything. It's just up to me.
Whereas the more feminine energy path is I'm going to follow what might seem like an off the path
totally
route.
Unrelated.
But my instincts are pulling me in that direction. The whole experience feels really good, feels connected. My gut is telling me this is right, even though my brain doesn't know why. And ultimately, I land at the destination I wanted or something even better that I would never have found if I'd been so determined to take the direct route. Mm-hmm. You don't leave any room for magic or serendipity or the universe to swoop in and show you things that you don't have the capability of seeing right now when you're laser focused on the direct path. There's no wiggle room.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing this right now.
How?
Well, I'm in my early 30s. I'm single. I didn't intend for that to happen. Mm-hmm. But damn if I couldn't. The direct route doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I haven't really belabored the direct route. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. But I did it enough, right? You've seen me do the direct route.
Yeah, I've seen you try to go head on at the thing.
I mean, I'm talking about crickets. I'm talking about the universe does not give a shit.
About your direct route.
About my direct route. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, some people, hey, if you want to be single for the rest of your life and have no kids, kudos to you. I think that would be awesome to have a life like that, to want a life like that. I just don't. That's never been my desire. I've always wanted to like be married and have kids eventually. So like at this point, it would be very, very easy, now that I'm not in my 20s anymore, to do what comes very easily and naturally to women of a certain age as you start worrying about your biological clock and you start fretting about the timeline. And that right there fuels a lot of direct, desperate action, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, now I'm going to download the dating app because I'm running out of time.
And I'm going to go on 5 days. I had a friend years ago who would go on, I think she had like a quota for herself of how many dates to go on a week.
She'd go on a lunch and a dinner date multiple days a week.
Yeah, it was intense, right? That is the direct route.
I know that friend, and she didn't know her ass from her head when it came to herself. Like she was so...
And she sure got herself a husband, but I wouldn't say it was a good match.
I wouldn't say it's one that you wanted for sure. No. So, okay, that's one route. Or I could do what I'm doing right now, which I'm not saying I'm mastering, but it's the indirect route, which is coasting, which is no expectations 2020, which is I'm not on any apps. I have zero desire. I've made this very clear before, but I have zero desire to do it. And that's not going to change. And I don't believe if I download an app, I'm going to be a magnet to what I want because I don't want to be there. I don't want to do it. It doesn't feel good. Yeah. So you want to know what? I got to focus on what feels good. And I got to trust that if I'm feeling good, I'm much more of a magnet to anything that I want than if I'm doing something that's direct but feels like shit. So I got to trust that getting what I want ultimately will be a result of me focusing on living my best life right now, which may look absolutely nothing at all related to my goal. Right?
Yeah. I'm doing a version of this exercise-wise right now. I have had many different motivations for exercising over the years that I have tried to go directly at. It might be, like I want to get abs again, or I want to like tone up my legs
again. Or when did you ever have them?
In college for a short time, if you'll remember.
No, I don't really remember.
That was before I knew you. Yeah. That was, well, if you had listened to our Friday episode, that was when I was in the Corps of Cadets.
Right.
Yeah. I for sure had abs then.
Okay, that makes sense. But I didn't see them. I've never heard tell of these abs.
That was pre-Crachel meeting.
Okay.
Or, like I want to tone up my legs, or I want to whatever. Or like, I want to be a yoga person now, right? Or like these direct kind of...
I want to look a certain
goals.
way.
Yeah. And after I was trying to get into some sort of rhythm pre-COVID, during COVID, everything just went out the window because gyms were closing. And I just kind of stopped
for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the world just stopped and that stopped with it. So more recently, I'm like, I just want to move my body in a way that feels good. So I've been trying out Orange Theory, which one of my clients actually told me about months ago and was raving about it. And I wasn't ready to hear that. But now I'm like, this feels good. They have good music. I try some different exercises. The instructors are great. And it feels kind of like personal training, but less intense. This is not an ad for Orange Theory, but if they wanted to pay us to do an ad for them, I would do it.
I'll also take the Bar 3 ad money because I have a subscription and I do bar workouts.
At home, yeah.
At home, like twice a week. I cancel my gym membership.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay $30 to do that than $100 to go to the gym.
Right. So I don't know if I'm going to get,
Who cares?
Abs or particular like body shape or whatever, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying moving my body. I'm enjoying the music. I'm enjoying following instructions and not having to figure out my own workouts. And it feels good. And there's going to be a good result that comes out of that, but I'm not super attached to it right now, which means I'm actually more likely to stick this out because the process feels better.
Couple thoughts here. Where's the intrinsic motivation when you're doing something based on like the external result? Like how it's going to, like, where's the intrinsic motivation in abs?
It's probably coming from lack, from I don't have something. And so I'm going after
not intrinsic
this
motivation.
Thing. Yeah, it's a lack mentality or fear mentality motivation.
And also,
that's why it feels urgent. That's why it feels desperate to go at the thing full force.
Which is why it can't last. When there's no intrinsic motivation, you're never going to have long-lasting results.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, why do you want abs in the first place?
Yes.
Like, what is it about the abs that you, or the relationship, or the job? Why do you want that in the first place?
Do you want love? Do you want
connection?
Right. Like, what's behind it? Because you're acting like your direct route is the only way to get there. There's a lot of ways to get there.
No. The worst thing that I've ever heard, I'll keep hearing over and over again because I need so frequent reminders of this, is that you do not feel how you want to feel once you get what you want. You get what you want as a result of feeling how you want to feel.
Oh, we humans hate that. I hate it too.
I hate it, but it's true. You don't get a relationship because you're desperate for a relationship and then it makes you happy. You get a relationship, a healthy relationship, because you are at a healthy place and you feel good about yourself and you are therefore a magnet to the same. You can get a relationship if you're desperate for one, but watch out for what you're a magnet for in that case.
Yeah, I know you know people, or I know you've had your own experiences of going directly at the thing and getting the thing. Now, once you get the thing, it might not be the thing you wanted, or you might be so burnt out from the process of getting that thing that you can't even enjoy that thing. Or now you're on to the next thing and you don't even pause to enjoy that thing because you're so focused on the next thing, the direct route.
I think we just broke a record for how many times we said thing in one episode.
Right.
That thing.
That takes me back.
I'm not even going to if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know.
Oh, but anyway, all I'm saying is you know how to do that. And I don't actually think the results are that good from taking the direct route most of the time.
No.
You're either burnt out or it's not even really what you wanted. Usually. So why not try a different route? Can this be part of no expectations?
This is definitely a way of having no expectations. Is the indirect way is the no expectations way. Because the direct way inherently comes with expectations.
Yes.
You're like,
a particular
I gotta get those abs.
Result.
Well, okay, you are super attached to the outcome when you're going the direct way.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going the indirect way, you're not as attached to the outcome. You're like, I don't know. I know I want to get there, but I'm open to how many routes. I'm open to lots of different ways to get there.
You know what? I like surfing. I'm going to surf. And I might get some abs out of that, or I might, whatever. But
if not, you know what? I might just be happy and I might feel good in my body. And that's what me getting abs was me trying to force that.
Yes.
Or honestly, getting abs, isn't that so much about like what other people think of you too? Again, the intention.
Because you're not looking at your own abs that often.
No. It's either like, I just want to feel really strong, in which case you can feel like that with or without abs.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's, I want people to look at me and I'm a little bit insecure. And so I think that this is going to be a fix.
Yep.
Not a great intention for doing anything. So the indirect route causes you to have to examine why you're doing something and whether or not that's really the only way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And to focus more on intrinsic fulfillment than extrinsic motivation.
I think the indirect route is much more freeing and
a lot more possibilities.
Enjoyable.
Yeah. A lot more ways to get there when you go indirect.
Exactly. You're not as boxed in.
When you're going direct, there's one line. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. When you're going indirect, every other possible angle surrounding that thing becomes open to you.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
And you think it's going to take a lot longer going indirect. Often it doesn't.
No. But you're never going to know. That's the thing.
I know.
You think that the direct way is more pointed and therefore it's going to be shorter. I think that's a belief. Just like I have to work hard to make money is a belief.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the only way to meet someone in these times is to download an app. I think that's just a belief.
Mm-hmm.
You got to question what you believe is possible. And why are we buying into these ideas? I get why. I mean, I get it. It's societal. It's programmed. Mm-hmm. It's common. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's true.
That is the truth.
That's the whole word.
Have we convinced you? Will you try the indirect route? which is essentially following the process and focusing less on the end result.
I mean, it's what we preach about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to feel good or do you want to get what you want? Because if you feel good, you're going to have bypassed all of the messiness to get what you want, and then you're still going to get what you want. Like, it's a win-win option.
Yeah, I think so. So Rachel and I are both testing it out. I would love to hear people let us know, leave us a comment if you're willing to try this out, and tell us what you want to go indirect toward, kind of give us your example of this in your own life.
I have a feeling we might get some questions about implementation.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's fine.
How do I go indirect when I'm looking for a job?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll give an example with a friend that might help people relate it to their own example. I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday, and she used to have a job as a fundraiser. And yes, the company had a particular goal in mind for the funds they wanted to raise. But she said what was the most effective...
it was her job to raise that money.
Yes, it was her job to raise that money.
So she kind of had like an expectation on her.
There was one built in. But she said what worked the best for her is when she just showed up every day and she would focus on writing the emails. She was not focused on any numbers. She was not focused on how are we going to make this much money? How are we going to get this? It was just, I'm going to write some great emails to our community and I'm going to share this message. And a result of me sending these emails is going to be, we're going to get money.
That some people will want to give.
And because she was so focused on the messaging, that felt a lot better to her because she knew she was capable of doing that. And the money came. The end result of the money came. So focus on like a side thing that will end up with you getting that goal. But it also could end up with a number of other wonderful possibilities as well.
It's the same with like an informational interview.
Yeah.
You don't sit down with someone because you're hoping that they'll introduce you to their boss and you'll get a job at that company. That's not why I want you to go have an informational interview. That would be the direct route.
Mm-hmm.
The indirect route is I am open to whatever comes of this conversation and I'm just here to learn.
Yes, exactly.
You can do the same thing, but you can go indirect in your approach with it. Okay? I think we've already covered how to do this in relationships.
Yes. And in health.
Yeah. Right. So I'd like to hear, I would like to hear what have you been potentially going direct with that you might need to go indirect with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's really that.
Yeah.
I can't believe we found like 20 minutes of stuff to say about that because it's really just one point. But
it is, but there's so many applications to the one point that I think it's helpful to give examples.
Can you let your results be the byproduct of a life well lived?
That's it. Yes, that's it in a nutshell. We could have just said that.
And then been like, bye.
Spared you 20 minutes.
Bye. But that's the point.
But yeah, that's the point.
Okay. Well, that's what coaching is, really. Coaching is the indirect. Yes. The way you coach with us, indirect.
Yes.
Coaching.
You might come in saying, I want a new job. We're not going to go directly at that right away.
Yeah. The job is going to be the result of you living a life that is aligned with you.
And I can tell you, that is what happens.
100%.
We have seen this year after year, client after client.
Lots of things open up beyond what you thought was going to happen too. Not just the thing you came for.
When you go indirect, a lot of times people, through the coaching experience, they think they're coming in with this one goal or one intention. And all of a sudden, their whole life looks and feels different. Because we're going at it in a more holistic and indirect kind of a way. So yeah, you're going to have a good side effect in your job. You're going to have a good side effect in your relationships, in your family, in your health, all of it. It's all going to spill over. So I'm telling you it works because we do it every day.
Your life is the reflection of who you are and where you're at. That's the indirect route. Like if you don't like what you're getting, it's not about going and trying to change it externally, track it down and hunt it down and like force those abs into submission. It's about going inward and letting what happens be a result of you feeling good and doing the work on yourself and liking that process. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that work, that's what we will help you do. And
final reminder, this is the last day to sign up to work with one of us. Again, you don't have to know 100% for sure. You just have to be pretty open to the idea, pretty seriously considering it, at least, to fill out that form and to let us know that you want to have that conversation. And we'll make sure it's a good fit before you have to pay any money or do any kind of commitment. But if you think this might be right and you think it might be the right time, get it in today. Get your form in today because this is the last day of the year that we're taking them on. Okay.
If you hear this after it's over and it's, a weird time where we're not doing it, add the wait list and we'll see where we're at. Add your name to the wait list and we'll see where we're at. Okay. I don't think we will be back on Tuesday. I think we're going to take a little pause and then we will be back next Friday. I'm hoping with that interview with a normal person we were supposed to have done 2 weeks ago that got kind of derailed. So go back to last Friday if you want to know why that got derailed. But who knows? We'll be back next Friday with something.
No matter what, you'll see us next Friday or you'll hear us next Friday.
Okay. See you then.
Bye.